What if the school bully messed with the wrong girl, one with a connection so powerful it could change everything? This inspiring story follows Maya Williams, a quiet new student who ends up in the sights of Bryce Carter, the most feared guy at school. He assumes she's weak, an easy target. But what he doesn't realize, Maya has a secret, one that will flip the script in a way no one sees coming. Stick around till the end, because what starts as a bully's arrogance, it'll end with his downfall. Maya Williams stepped off the bus, gripping her backpack straps as she took in the massive front entrance of Clearview High School in Houston, Texas. The crisp autumn air carried the scent of freshly cut grass and sun-warmed pavement, a lingering trace of summer. Students moved in groups, their laughter and casual chatter filling the air, but Maya? She felt like an outsider. This wasn't new. In fact, this was her fourth school transfer in just 3 years. Some kids moved because their parents got new jobs. Maya? She moved because she needed a fresh start, again. Keeping her head down, she made her way toward the doors, hoping to disappear into the crowd. A few students turned to glance at the unfamiliar face, curiosity flickering in their eyes, but she avoided their gaze. Clearview High wasn't special. A big suburban school, filled mostly with middle-class kids who had known each other since kindergarten. The football team? Decent. The cheer squad? Popular. The social hierarchy? Set in stone long before she got here. Not that it mattered. Maya had one goal: stay invisible. Inside, the hallways buzzed with energy, lockers slamming, sneakers squeaking on the tile floors, teachers trying and failing to corral students into their classrooms before the first bell rang. Maya walked, clutching her schedule, already familiar with this routine. Find her locker. Figure out where to sit at lunch. Most importantly, identify the people to stay away from. And that's when she saw Bryce Carter. Tall, broad-shouldered, moving with that effortless confidence that only the most untouchable high school guys seem to have. He leaned against a row of lockers, surrounded by a crew of guys in Letterman jackets, all laughing at something he just said. Even from a distance, Maya could tell he had an aura, the kind that made people either follow him or fear him. She recognized his type instantly. The golden boy. Star quarterback. Good looks. Rich family. But there was something else. The way the people around him laughed a little too hard. The way they shifted uncomfortably when he spoke. She'd seen this before. Guys like Bryce thrived on power, on intimidation. And though Maya had zero intention of drawing his attention, fate had other plans. As she walked past, someone bumped into her. Hard. Not an accident. Her books tumbled to the ground, scattering across the hallway. A few students turned to watch. Some snickered. Maya bent down, ignoring the heat creeping up her cheeks. Well, what do we have here? Maya froze. She didn't need to look up to know exactly whose voice that was. Bryce Carter. His voice was calm, amused, but there was an edge to it, like a lion toying with its prey. Behind him, his friends chuckled. Slowly, Maya lifted her gaze. Bryce stood over her, arms crossed, that infuriating smirk plastered across his face. The same smirk she had seen before, on every bully who thought they ruled the school. Don't think I've seen you before, he mused. You knew. Maya didn't answer, just grabbed her books and stood up, brushing past him without a word. But Bryce? He wasn't done yet. Hey, where's your manners? His voice carried through the hallway. I asked you a question. Maya kept walking. She had played this game before. The best way to deal with guys like him? Don't engage. But Bryce? He didn't like being ignored. And that's when she felt it. A sharp tug on her backpack. Not hard enough to hurt, but enough to send a message. I'm not letting this go. Maya stopped. Slowly, she turned. For a second, the hallway went silent. Even students who hadn't been paying attention before, they were watching now. She met Bryce's gaze. And for the first time, something flickered in his eyes. Curiosity. Maybe even a little surprise? You shouldn't have done that, Maya said softly. Bryce raised an eyebrow, then let out a slow, mocking laugh. Oh yeah? And why's that? His smirk widened. Maya didn't answer, just held his gaze, unflinching. Bryce tilted his head. You're kinda weird, you know that? His friends chuckled behind him. Maya turned back around and walked away. She didn't have to look back to know Bryce Carter wasn't finished with her yet. And he had no idea what kind of mistake he had just made. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Maya stayed quiet in class, answering only when necessary, keeping her head down. She ate lunch alone, choosing a spot near the cafeteria's edge, somewhere she could watch without being watched. Bryce and his crew? They owned the lunchroom. Their table, right in the center, was a hub of loud conversations and over-the-top laughter. Every so often, Maya could feel his gaze flicker toward her. But he didn't approach. Not yet. By the time the final bell rang, Maya was more than ready to leave. She stepped outside, pulling out her phone when, "Hey, new girl." She turned. Bryce stood there, hands in his pockets, that same damn smirk still on his face. Behind him, a few of his friends lingered, waiting. Maya sighed. "What do you want?" Bryce took a slow step forward. "You got an attitude problem, you know that?" Maya didn't answer. Bryce's grin widened. "What? You think you're better than me?" Maya let out a short laugh, not nervous, not scared, amused. And that threw Bryce off. "I think," she said, voice calm, "that you should walk away." Bryce's smirk faltered. Just for a second. Then he recovered. "Oh yeah." He stepped closer, towering over her. "And why's that?" Maya leaned in just slightly, voice barely above a whisper. "Because you have no idea who I am." Bryce chuckled, shaking his head. "Oh yeah? And who exactly?" Before he could finish, Maya lifted her phone, pressed a single button, and then a loud roar filled the air. A black Dodge Charger, Hellcat, pulled up to the curb, the kind of car that turned heads. The tinted window rolled down slowly. And there he was. Vin Diesel. Bryce's smirk? Gone. For the first time in his life, he was the one feeling small,